Okay, so, bottom line, is this season great? No. Is this season a terrible dumpster fire that ranks up there with Season 6? No. What I can call this season, overall, is decent. It's just good enough to be passable. Now, that may sound like I'm lowballing it, but trust me when I say that after I tore Season 6 to shreds, that is probably the highest praise that I've given to a post-Season 4 episode. This right here. Because post-Season 4, this is the best season. Like, it's not even a debate. Now, I'm not saying it's up there with the first 4 seasons, don't misquote me. I'm saying from Seasons 5 to 8, 7 is the best one. That being said, though, it's still got its fair share of problems, so strap yourselves in. I'm going to do my best to explain it in this decently long review, where I detail the things that I like and the things I really didn't like. So let's talk about it. And as you haven't already noticed, we are getting close to finishing Dexter-Ly, because all we have left after this review is the atrocious final season of the original series, New Blood, and Original Sin. And then I will do episode reviews of Resurrection as shorts, like I did with MHA Vigilantes and Lazarus, to keep up with everything. Then when that entire season is done, we'll do another big review. So, in terms of like big overall season reviews, we only have 3 left. So, we are already almost done talking about Dexter, and it's been a journey to say the least. Starting out really high, and now crashing down to the low lows, and then sort of kind of high again with this, but not super high. And then we're going to crash down below the earth into bedrock with the atrocious Season 8. Possibly dive even lower than that for New Blood, if what I've heard about it seems to be true. And then rising up again slightly with Original Sin. So it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster ride for these final few reviews. So buckle in, let's dive in. Welcome back to the station, which is for anything and everything animation, including TV and movies, and especially a serial killer of killers hiding in plain sight. I am your host and local horror nut, Jackson Small. Welcome to my complicated but mostly positive review of Dexter Season 7. Here's my review. It details pretty much all my thoughts. I hope you enjoy. After the massive failure of Season 6, I went into this rewatch of Season 7 with very low expectations and expected to be miserable throughout this 12-episode stretch again. But thankfully, this was actually still just as good as it was on the first watch from years ago. Now granted, it's not on the level of the first 4 seasons, not even close, and definitely more mixed than full-on positive, which is why I'm just calling this season overall decent. But considering how much of an infamous abomination the final season is going to be, I'll take what little glimmers of hope that I can get before it all goes to hell. Negatives first. Yeah, we're going to start in reverse order, because a lot like Cody Leach, it pretty much timelines my thoughts on this season perfectly. Because, like, most of my negatives are in the first part, some of the mixed aspects is in the middle, and then most of the positives are emphasized by how it all wraps up at the end. Because even though, I'm going to say it again, Dexter Season 8 is a piece of trash, they did an incredible job setting it up with this season. So, yep, negatives first. Quinn is still a generic throwaway that has far overstayed his welcome. I haven't talked about him at all in these reviews, mainly because I completely forget that he even exists by the time I'm done with every season. So, I've kind of just learned to stop caring. I don't care about his storyline. I don't care about him saving some Russian girl. I don't care. He's a stupid character, and he's overly generic and pointless. Lewis is a waste, as his build-up from the previous season leads to nothing. Yeah, apparently there was some build-up from Season 6 that I forgot to talk about in that review, where they were trying to build up Lewis as this next great big bad, but it leads to pretty much nothing of significance whatsoever. And it's just a waste. And it makes Season 2 even worse just through that mere fact. Not Season 2, sorry, Season 6. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Mike Anderson is killed off, leaving behind nothing memorable whatsoever. He was there for one season, and then he's gone within the first episode and the next. It doesn't matter, he doesn't exist, and it doesn't freaking care. Okay? He doesn't matter. Jamie spends way too much time with Harrison, to the point of pretty much being Dex's wife, which is not believable in the slightest. Like, how much is Dexter paying this girl to stay with his son pretty much 24/7? Like, how much? Because she is there all the time, to the point of it not even being remotely believable, and it's making it seem like she has absolutely no life whatsoever. Like, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's just lazy writing. And that incest romantic relationship storyline between Dex and Deb is still fucking pointless and leads to absolutely zero development. Once again, that plot can rot in hell. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it again because it tries to make Season 8 more dramatic than it already was. Wonderful. As if I want to talk about the worst fucking storyline this entire show a third fucking time. This show is so frustrating sometimes. Also, it's not a full negative, but they focus on way too many antagonists all at once. They did try to do something different than just following the same formula they had for the past 6 seasons by having multiple threats going after Dexter and the rest of the main characters all at once. It's an interesting idea, but I think that there's just way too many here. There are some good ones, but most of them are kind of just your usual villain of the week bullshit. So, make of that what you will. And it leads to a finale that, while shocking, rings hollow because it feels unearned. Like, especially now, knowing how this show ends. This original show, not the series overall, obviously. It feels unearned, and that shocking ending of this rings hollow. I do like the idea that they were trying to go for by having Deb, like, give in to the Dex's dark passenger and having her sort of empower and unwittingly encourage him to keep doing what he does. But they handled it in a very weird, odd, dissatisfying way. Like, I understand what they were going for, which is why it's a mixed aspect and not a negative, but it just rings hollow on rewatch. Sorry. However, there's a surprising amount of good things here too. The acting is still fantastic. This is Jennifer Carpenter's best performance season of this show as Deborah Morgan. She gives the best performance of her entire tenure on the show in this season. And of course, Michael C. Hall still being amazing as Dexter. What else can I really say there? They did a great job at building off the ultimatum of Season 6, which leads into Deborah having her best arc of the entire franchise, as she discovers who Dex truly is and accepts his dark passenger. Eventually. She does start off being scared and not wanting to, encourage this dark passenger, but after a while, she ends up accepting it anyway. Ray Speltzer is a really good side villain with a tense battle of wits and wills with Dex. This is the guy that chases women around this maze in a bull mask, and then when he catches them, he beats them to death. And while this only lasts for 2 whole episodes, he was a pretty good and very different kind of side villain from what we've had before. And then you have Isaac Serco, played by Ray Stevenson of all people, who is easily the best villain of the franchise since the Trinity Killer from Season 4, with both sympathy and a lot of badassery. This is Ray Stevenson. This dude is one badass motherfucker. Which leads into a touching ending. Like, this is the best genuine friendship that they've done for Dex in this show. Like, they had an idea with Brother Sam until they completely abandoned it for dumb plot reasons. He had another friendship with Miguel way back in Season 3, and that had a good idea, but again, in execution, just didn't quite work out, and by the end it kind of felt arbitrary. But this actual friendship that Dex makes with Isaac Serco is genuine, it has a great ending, and it leaves on a happy note. Or as happy of a note as you can expect from a show like Dexter. That's all I'm going to say about it. Like, Ray Stevenson's performance, amazing. Isaac Serco, easily the best villain of this franchise since the Trinity Killer. And he is badass as hell. That's literally all you need to know. LaGuerta finally gets something to do as we see her investigative side as she slowly finds out who Dexter truly is, regardless of the underwhelming end to said arc. Yeah, after ignoring the precinct characters for 2 seasons in a row, they finally did something, and they finally took one of the characters that I liked the least out of all the characters of Miami PD, and was able to give them a surprisingly enthralling and very fascinating arc. Again, until the ending where it kind of just shoots itself in the foot. Hannah McKay is a wonderfully twisted new addition that actually embraces who Dex really is and doesn't act like a controlling bitch. The opposite of Rita. The writing is a lot better and does a solid job juggling all these plot lines and different stories. Like I said, it's a little too many antagonists all at once, but the writing mostly does a good job at juggling all these different threats coming at Dexter and co simultaneously. Like, too many villains, but it handles them well enough. And the pacing is outstanding. The pacing has been an issue of this show ever since, like, Season 3. Season 3 had some bad pacing. Season 5 had bad pacing. And then the pacing in Season 6 was fucking atrocious. But here in Season 7, it's a lot better. It's a consistent slow burn. It doesn't rush anything until the ending, but that's whatever. And it actually gives every scene and character time to actually develop. You know, aside from the disgusting incest shit that doesn't need to be there. Overall, it's a perfectly solid season, and a huge saving grace after Season 6 sucked so hard. Yes, it's more on the decent side as a whole because of its very big flaws, but it is without a doubt the best of the post-Season 4 seasons of the series. Say that 5 times fast. Give it a shot if you haven't already. I think it is worth a watch, and even if you're someone who hated Season 6 like me, it makes it kind of worth it to go into Season 7. Because Season 7 is a decent season, and if you enjoy Dexter and you didn't lose all hope for this franchise after watching Season 6, which, if you didn't, you're a fucking trooper, and I envy you, this is a good season. And that is why its final verdict is going to be a solid, but flawed, 6.5 out of 10. It's a decent season, it's just good enough to be a good season. But it does still have some baggage from Season 6, and it is nowhere near the first 4 seasons, usually pretty high quality, even Season 3. But next time... Oh, Lord. Next time we have to talk about how this original series of Dexter concluded in one of the worst and shittiest fucking seasons of television that I've ever subjected my eyeballs to. Next time, it is going to be a massive 18-plus rant with pretty much nothing but negativity, because I'm going to tell you right now, more than likely, the final score for Season 8 is going to be a 0. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because it is a season that does so much wrong and ended this original series on such a shitty, unsatisfying note that I need to just let my fucking rage out on it. So, yeah, it's going to be an 18+ rating, and it is going to be a very, very negative review. as the original series decides to take all the great things it learned, well, it built up to in Season 7, and then fucking drown itself because the writers are too dumb and half-brained to know that they already had a good setup and they just fucking abandoned it. I'll tell you all about next time when we get through Dexter's final season, aka Dexter Season 8. Pray for my fucking sanity. See you in the next review, and prepare for a lot of yelling. That's your warning. See you in the next review, while I go prepare myself to go Super Saiyan Rose on its fucking ass.